It's a big jump from where I was. Good timing. I was from a full low to a full high.
I always believed I could coach a world champion. And the fact that he's fighting for the title now.
Jack Della Maddalena is deep into an intense training camp, sharpening his wrestling and endurance ahead of a potential clash with Islam Makhachev. On the other hand, Islam Dulatov shared his thoughts on the potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. He said many people believe it will be an easy win for Makhachev, but he disagrees. Dulatov thinks Makhachev will win, but it will be a tough fight. He pointed out that while Makhachev is big for lightweight, he is not very big for welterweight. In his opinion, Della Maddalena might even have more weight and better striking. He also mentioned that Makhachev clearly has the better ground game.
A lot of people think that it's going to be an easy fight for Islam, but I don't think that it's going to be that easy. I think Islam going to win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for him, like everybody thinks. Because Islam is maybe big for lightweight, but he's not big for welterweight.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? That's why I would say, like, I don't know, he don't look for me so big.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's just on pictures or whatever, but actually, you know, I think JDM has a lot more of weight than him. But at the end of the day, I think JDM has better striking, and Islam has for sure the better ground game. And I think
Islam Dulatov further said that even though Makhachev may not look very big for welterweight, he is confident that Islam will win the fight. He admitted it will not be easy, but believes Makhachev has what it takes to get the job done. Dulatov mentioned that many fans are underestimating Jack Della Maddalena, but reminded everyone that JDM is at the top for a reason. In the end, he repeated that it will be a tough fight, but he is very sure that Islam Makhachev will come out on top.
If I said you had to choose one fighter to win that one, who would you choose?
Islam.
Really, Islam? You're just saying how he wasn't big enough.
Yeah, but I say he will win this.
You really?
I say, I think he gonna win this for sure.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like I'm very sure that he's gonna win this.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be not an easy fight.
Not easy.
You know,
fight.
like because I see in the comments like a lot of people, oh JDM, it's over for you. You know, like people make this guy like very small. You know, and actually, bro, that's a reason why he's there. You know, why he's a champ. So I think it's going to be a tough fight, but Islam going to win for sure.
However, Jack Della Maddalena is undergoing a brutal and focused training camp ahead of his potential fight with Islam Makhachev. He is putting in long hours to sharpen his striking, strengthen his takedown defense, and build the conditioning needed for a high-paced battle. Every session is aimed at preparing for the unique challenges Makhachev brings. Jack is preparing for Islam's strong grappling by focusing on takedown defense and staying mobile. His training includes improving footwork, timing, and quick recovery if taken down. He's sharpening his boxing to control the fight on the feet while building the stamina and defense needed to handle Islam's constant pressure. Moreover, Renato Moicano believes the potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena should be seen as evenly matched. He noted that while Islam's grappling is elite, moving up to welterweight brings new challenges, including adjusting to stronger, heavier opponents and building size properly.
So Islam versus JDM.
I think they probably should be even, you know, because even though Islam is a good grappler, he's big for 155. He's moving to 170. We never know, you know. I think he needs to take some time to work on to gain weight, to gain power, you know, to gain strength. So that's why the odds are even, and I think they should be even.
Luke Rockhold said that the potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena would be both tough and exciting. He listed Islam, Topuria, and JDM as his current favorite UFC fighters. Rockhold praised JDM's entertaining style and solid wrestling, but pointed out that Islam has a lifetime of grappling experience. He also noted the size factor, saying JDM is naturally bigger, while Islam appears to have added size as well, making the matchup even more intriguing.
It's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. It's going to be interesting. You know, I think those are my three favorite fighters in the UFC right now. We go Islam, Topuria, and JDM. He's fun to watch. So, I mean, that's going to be a great fight. You know, he's no slouch at wrestling, but you have a guy that's wrestled his whole life and grappled his whole life versus JDM, who's kind of like, he's secondary on that, but you know, you never know. He's a bigger guy. So, you know, we'll see how Islam, how he bulks up and how he looks. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember. I used to train with him forever. So, I mean, he's definitely grown. You know, we'll see how he carries the weight.
Navajo Sterling sees the fight going clearly in Jack's favor. He argued that Jack's size, reach, and striking would make it tough for Islam to close distance or land takedowns, removing many of the advantages Islam usually has.
You picked JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makhachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam, shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
So you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and like when you watch JDM, like you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. It's hard to like shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against him either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.
MMA analyst Luke Thomas praised Jack's striking in his recent performance, but pointed out flaws in his defense and grappling decisions. He warned that mistakes like those could be costly against a fighter as skilled and composed as Islam.
The striking prowess of JDM, if he could just have enough time to get it going, would be enough. I think Muhammad somewhat overperformed relative to expectations, but in the end, JDM was better. But the defensive lapses, to me, I know we have to focus on like how good JDM is as a striker, but what could have cost him here was the incompleteness of his defense. And to me, he took a quantum leap forward today in showing how good that was. Now, again, trying to turn that defense into offense by trying to go for some of those ill-advised takedowns, especially in the fifth, and then you're getting kind of lateral dropped for it. You do that against Islam, and I think that's a huge mistake. Islam just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, right? He doesn't necessarily have, at times, always the flashiest offense. I mean, he does have very good offense. We're talking about the pound-for-pound #1 guy in the sport. But what really defines him is that he makes very, very good decisions.
Thomas also expressed excitement about Islam's move to welterweight, calling it a major opportunity to join the elite group of 2-division champions. He acknowledged the risks of moving up, but said the potential reward is huge for Islam's legacy.
I have to tell you, Islam up at 170 to me is exciting. I know what everyone's going to say. Oh my God, the best fight you could have made in MMA was Ilya versus Islam. I'm not denying it. I'm not in any way asking you to feel differently about what was the best fight that could be made. But here's what I am trying to tell you. Islam up at 170 could be something really special. It could fizzle too, but I'm trying to point out the positives. It could be really special. For him to become a double champ could be a very big deal.
Alexander Volkanovski analyzed the potential bout between Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev, stating that Jack's match against Belal Muhammad was perfect preparation. He believes that Jack's ability to stop Belal's takedowns increased his confidence and elevated his defensive skills. Volkanovski thinks that even elite grapplers will find it difficult to take Jack down or control him on the ground.
Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Belal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, there's every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, like, worried about, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, like, I guarantee you if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. Only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
Jorge Masvidal also gave his opinion, leaning towards Islam Makhachev in the fight against Della Maddalena. He commended Jack's striking and takedown defense in the Muhammad fight, but feels Islam's wrestling is on a higher level. Jorge mentioned that Jack starts strong with his hands, but Islam's pressure and grappling will dominate as the fight progresses.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack. #1 pound for. Wow, that's impressive. You know, I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh, really?
You know, but I really think it's gonna be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Bilal.
Bilal has the best cardio in MMA, but Bilal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique. Not same. Very good, very aggressive. Bilal never stops a dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. You know, Islam's level of wrestling is above. His stand-up game is improving. I don't think he could go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. But as the rounds go on later and later, he could do.
Ilia Topuria offered tactical advice for Jack, suggesting he focus on targeting Islam's body with straight punches to weaken his takedown attempts and prevent him from shooting. He emphasized that solid body strikes can disrupt a wrestler's strategy. Ilia also complimented Jack's striking style, saying he enjoys watching him and believes this plan could give Jack a real chance.
Have any advice for Jack, who might be coming up against Islam Makhachev next?
The advice, like, he has to work the straight body shots, because that takes away the intentions of the takedown. If he works with the straight body shots, he's gonna stop his intentions of the takedowns. And he's doing a great job at striking. I like how he fights.
Moreover, Philip Rowe believes Jack would defeat Islam. He argued that Islam isn't large enough for welterweight and thinks Jack would get up from takedowns and overpower Islam with his strength, eventually finishing the fight.
Philip Rowe, what's cracking, man?
Chilling.
Hey, now listen, you're welterweight, you've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So we'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in the fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop Islam.
Dustin Poirier shared his view on the fight, saying the result depends on the early rounds. If Islam gets Jack down early, Dustin sees Islam winning, but if Jack can defend the takedowns, his sharp boxing and physicality could cause Islam serious trouble. He also noted Islam's striking looks awkward, but is effective because opponents are wary of his takedown threat and don't fully commit to their offense.
Do you think he beats Jack Della Maddalena?
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's gonna get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, awkward and different. You have to worry so much about the takedown. You can't plant your feet and throw off those number combinations and really rip and sit on your punches, because he's going to change levels. So it changes the way you fight. Well, for me, it did. I'm speaking from experience. So we'll see how Jack approaches and how Jack executes out there. But if you're worried about takedowns, your shots are different. You're not sitting on everything and standing in front of the guy. You're trying to move and be light on your feet. I think the first 2 rounds will tell us how this fight's gonna go.
Charles Oliveira called Jack dangerous because he doesn't rush finishes but wears opponents down methodically, as seen in his win over Belal Muhammad. He expects Islam to succeed at welterweight, pointing to his increased strength and grappling skills. Oliveira believes the fight will come down to whether Jack can keep it standing or if Islam can impose his ground game.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é jogo muito complicado, porque ele é cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora no luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é jogo que, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo é o time.
Robert Whittaker admitted predicting Islam's performance at welterweight is difficult since moving up brings uncertainties. He highlighted that the physical and tactical challenges change in a new division, but expressed full confidence in Islam's skills, believing he can match or exceed what Belal Muhammad does.
But like I said, it is hard to try to get an accurate gauge on what it's going to look like, not knowing how Islam is going to look when he moves up. Okay, it's always the question everybody asks when anybody is moving up a weight division or down a weight division, okay? There's so many unknowns involved.
Gilbert Burns supported Islam's move to welterweight, saying 170 pounds suits him better, especially considering the tough weight cuts at lightweight. Burns praised Islam as the top pound-for-pound fighter, but warned the fight could be closer than expected. He pointed to Jack's training with elite fighters like Alexander Volkanovski and Craig Jones, which increases Jack's threat level. Burns expects a competitive battle.
Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he'll not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're gonna have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating.
Furthermore, Javier Mendez discussed the possible fight, saying it's hard to say if Jack is Islam's toughest challenge yet, but confirmed Islam wants the fight and is fully prepared. Mendez praised Islam's elite skills and dedication, saying he is on another level compared to anyone Jack has faced. He also thinks welterweight fits Islam's body well and expects him to be a strong force in the division.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So, Islam's a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level. And also, the weight is not super big for him either. So he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes.
Javier Mendez stressed that Jack should not be underestimated. He called it unwise to overlook Jack, especially after his hard-fought win over Belal Muhammad. Mendez praised Belal's toughness and noted both fighters took heavy shots. He emphasized that Islam's team, including Khabib and others, recognizes Jack's threat and is preparing carefully.
If we as coaches think Jack is easier, we're stupid. We are very stupid. Then we didn't watch the Belal fight, because Belal can take a hell of a shot. He can take a hell of a shot, and he took him. And he gave him two. Belal gave him two. So it was a war. That fight was a war. And you know what? For us to think it's an easy fight for us, what kind of idiot coaches are we? Habib's not an idiot, and neither am I. And neither is Magomed, neither is Saif Safullah and Muhammad, the other coaches that they work with Islam. We're not stupid.
Mendez also pointed out that Jack is a serious threat because of his size and diverse striking. He said Jack can attack with powerful kicks and punches that keep opponents guessing. While calling Ilia Topuria the more precise boxer, Mendez praised Jack's overall striking as more complete. He stressed that Islam would need perfect preparation to handle this fight, noting there is no margin for error.
We know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a much bigger guy, and just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, in different variations. Not boxing, because I think Topuria's got the best boxing in the business. I still believe that, but Jack is well versed in the kicking and the arsenal, how he mixes it up. He's really good at head and body, leg, everything. He's really, really good at that. So we have our hands cut out for us. It's not an easy fight at all. If Islam, by some miracle of a chance, makes that fight to be like slam dunk, it's because we were properly prepared, or Jack wasn't as prepared, or Jack was injured, or Jack just got caught. But it's gonna be one of those fights that's not easy. No way in hell is that fight going to be easy. Very tough fight.
Henry Cejudo forecasted that Islam Makhachev will prevail and become a two-division champion, seeing it as the natural next step in his career. Conversely, Kamaru Usman backed Jack Della Maddalena, commending his composure under pressure and confidence in his ability to retain the belt. Both expect the fight to happen in Abu Dhabi this October.
I think Islam Makhachev is going to beat him. I think he's going to become the 11th double champ in UFC history.
Islam tweeted, keep it shiny, keep it nice for me. JDM, I mean, it was kind of like the perfect comeback. He was just like, yeah, come get it.
Keep my belt clean. Okay, so the talking has begun, dude. That fight is set. That fight's going to take place in October, Abu Dhabi. I think we all know that. We're no longer going to get Ilya versus Islam Makhachev just now.
Chael Sonnen wondered if Islam Makhachev would remain at welterweight and aim for a title shot after a loss to Jack Della Maddalena, or if he would drop back down to 155 pounds. He highlighted examples like Ilia Topuria and Makhachev himself to stress that above all, fighters prioritize chasing the championship, which he called the most important goal in the sport.
If he loses to Jack, does he get right back in the mix at 170 and works his way back to that title shot? Is that what he does, or does he cut his weight back down to 155 pounds? Whether it was Ilya, what he's going through now, what it is Islam and the announcement that we just got, what I'm attempting to prove to you is there is nothing in this sport that matters more to the fighters than the weight.
John Wood described the matchup between Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev as compelling. He noted that Jack's fight with Belal Muhammad gave him useful experience against a similar style, but Islam performs it at a much higher level. Wood believes the fight will be very interesting if Jack continues improving and maintains his confidence. He gives Jack the advantage in striking, but says the key will be if Jack's takedown defense can hold strong.
I like it. I think that's a great fight. I feel like if Jack can keep building upon what he did in his, in against Belal, I mean, he's seen that style now from a champion, and it's very similar to what Islam's going to do. I think Islam does it a little bit better. So as long as Jack is improving and getting better and his confidence is there, it's very interesting. I feel like on the feet, I think Jack's got him on the feet. It's just that obviously if that takedown defense can hold up.
Wood also said Islam is hard to bet against right now, comparing it to backing Kamaru Usman at his peak. He pointed out some weaknesses in Islam's game and takedown attempts that Jack might exploit, but until someone figures it out, Islam remains a powerful and dominant grappler.
That's the thing with Islam, obviously everybody is like, it's one of those things where you can't bet against Islam at this point in time until you see a chink in the armor. It's like betting against Morocco. You can do it. It's not a smart bet, but until someone figures out that puzzle, I don't know. Islam is a different kind of cat on the ground, and his striking is not bad. He's going to come at you and get you to strike, and eventually take a shot. There are some holes in his game and holes in the entries, and obviously being Team Khabib, there are definitely some things that you can expose to get that win. And if Jack figures that out, I think it'd be the long night for Islam. But again, I wouldn't bet against Islam until I see somebody kind of break that code.
Jack Hermanson said it's hard to predict how fighters perform when moving between weight classes. He noted that Islam Makhachev looks almost unbeatable at lightweight and could be the best pound for pound. While unsure if Islam can maintain that dominance at welterweight, Hermanson still favors him. He also praised Jack Della Maddalena's strong showing against Belal Muhammad, but thinks Jack needs more fights before his true level can be fully assessed.
Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe the pound for pound best. It's just so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really, really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, we need to see a few more fights with Jack. He looked amazing against Bilal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's something about Islam is just so good. Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe, you know, maybe the pound for pound best. It's just so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really, really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, we need to see a few more fights with Jack. It looked amazing against Bilal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's something about Islam is just so good.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this fight? What do you think about their matchup? We would love to hear your thoughts on this clash. So share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also, check out our other latest videos on the screen right now.